One's introduction to data. It's going to go through SQL, data in spreadsheets and Tableau. You've got the cloud, which is also going to do cloud development, database development in Azure. So this is an advanced one. And then you've got the introduction to machine learning, supervised learning. So there's first round, there's 15,000 seats. And if you're successful, if you go in and you're successful, then there's 1,600 seats then available for jointly within the one of the free tracks. So you could go through to do the full nano degree program. And just to quickly bring up the supervised learning curriculum, it's going through regression, perceptron algorithms, you've got decision trees, it's going through, it's going to cover some statistics and then different types of machine learning, modeling, all the way through into, and eventually into neural networks and TensorFlow. So, and goes a little bit further into, so a lot of the stuff that Tom's been teaching in the lessons is also going to be reflected in the course as well. And you can sign up to the program, let me see, until 30th of November. So if you're interested, it is on in our family Slack. I have posted it on LinkedIn, but if you need the link separately, just reach out to me. I'll also drop it in our chat here as well. It's a great opportunity.
Thank you for sharing that, Jonathan. That's awesome. Amir, can we ask you to move your question to Jonathan either in the Slack chat or this chat, so we can get started with Susan? Is that okay, Amir?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. No issue.
Okay, great. Susan, my dear friend, welcome to our family. And my deepest apologies. I forget that UK time does not equal Central Europe time, so that was my bad.
Yeah, I'm in my pajamas. I'm going to own it. I don't care.
Awesome. I'm in my hoodie. So, no, that's great. That's great. So, Susan, I just want to start out by sharing with the family. You and I have just had a very fun relationship over LinkedIn. We were kind of brought together by the combination of Robert and Kate.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed watching your journey. Then, to everyone here, when we wrote our Being a Data Scientist post, you can tell we didn't completely focus on pure data scientists, because Susan would say that she's not a data scientist. I'd say, well, you're 80% data scientist, because you're an expert at the 80% that we have to do. But we featured her in that article because we loved her story, her grit, her determination to keep finding something that really made sense for her. And Susan, now you've gotten the attention of a wide array of people on LinkedIn that are in the data realm, the data evangelism realm. You've obviously spun up your own business from something you found you'd love to do, working for others. You've already given a TED Talk, and now you've written a book, and that was why this delay is so awesome. Excellent. Between the Spreadsheets. That is a perfect Susan Walsh title too.
The book had to reflect me and not just be another data book.
Yeah, exactly. So really, Susan, we are already inspired by you, but we invited you here to inspire us by a method of your choosing. And you will see the magic of our family soon as we start to, after you wind down, we will be full of questions for you. So please just take the floor and inspire us by your methods of your own choosing.
So I think it's, everybody's path and experience is different. So you have to find the right way that's for you. Just because it worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I certainly found that when I started my business, I didn't fit into the slots of all these like courses that I went on that said, you know, your business has to be this, that, the next thing. And that's true in life in general. You know, my TED talk was say no to no. And I think it's about finding your own way, but also looking at things in a different way. So, you know, when we're told no, we normally think of that as the end, or that's that whatever we wanted to do, that's it, finished. But normally there's another way to get to your destination. And so it's around thinking about that. So, you know, you want to become a data scientist, and maybe you're trying to find a job and you haven't found a job yet. So how else can you become a data scientist? Well, you know, something that I did when I started out my business was I took on lots of really cheap, crappy jobs on freelancer websites and picked up a ton of experience, which has led me to be able to offer a whole range of different services that I didn't even think I could do. So, and then that, you know, you then have those skills that you can add to your CV, which leads to more experience, which means you are then more recruitable and attractive to potential employers. And I think, yeah, just, you know, be prepared to really work hard for very little but you will get back a lot more in the long run. So it's more of a long game. Don't expect short, quick wins. They tend to not really pan out very well.
And just to support your point real quick, Susan,
yeah,
I want everyone to know, I know data scientists working exactly in the mode that Susan's describing now, because they're early in their career. So excellent point.
Yeah, and also, you know, it's okay to not know what you want to do. So I did a degree in commerce and thought that I would know what I wanted to do by the end of it. I didn't. And so I spent at least 10 years just trying out different jobs to find out what I liked. And it's the same with data science. You know, there will be areas of it that you enjoy more than others. And just because you don't enjoy a certain aspect of it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't enjoy all of it. There could be other areas of data science that are better suited to your skills and what you enjoy. And so try things out, and don't be afraid to try things. You know, I remember my mum always telling me, oh, nobody's going to want to employ you because you're always changing jobs. And I was like, well, it's not stopped me from getting other jobs, so it can't be that bad. And there's definitely a different attitude towards that now as well. There's temping, there's contracting, you know, try a few things out, pick up some experience, see what you like. You know, you don't have to jump in with a permanent job straight away. There are other options. And when you do find something that you like, focus on what you're good at, not what you're not good at. You know, develop the skills you're really good at. You know, when I worked for the spend analytics company, I knew I was really good at the spend classification, terrible at the analytics. I can put a few charts together, but I'm not an expert at it. And so when I set up the business, I focused on the classification part. I said, you know, if you really want me to do some charts, I'll do it for you, but that's not where my skills lie. You know, I focused on the bit that I'm really good at. And I'd advise that, you know, because you could waste a lot of time trying to be good at something you're not. Like, you know, I spent a whole year getting extra tutoring to try and pass my higher grade maths, and I still failed it epically. So, you know, sometimes it's, you know, and I only did it because my dad said at the time, oh, nobody will employ you if you don't have your maths. And of course, you know, when you're young, you believe it. Well, you don't believe everything your parents tell you, but you do listen to them. But, you know, again, things are changing in that aspect. You know, that was like 20 years ago plus. So, you know, there's a different kind of attitude towards that now. I think there's definitely more of an attitude-based approach to jobs and things like that now than there was before.
And I want to back up what you're saying here. What you just said could be a poster child advertisement for the Gallup Strength Finder poll, because they have this Strength Finder assessment, and their whole premise is what you're saying. That, if you really want to excel in life, discover your strengths and just exploit them.
Yeah. And the other thing is, certainly in the early days when I was still employable, when I did have to go for new jobs, there would always be assessments, personality, numerical. And because I knew that my weakness was in the maths area, I would buy books on how to pass maths tests and practice and practice and practice for weeks before the interview, just so that it could get me through and that I wasn't intimidated on the day that I had to do the test. I knew what to expect. So preparation is really good too. You know, if there are hurdles, you know, you have to jump over, again, you know, prepare yourself for them, and find a way to manage the situation. Someone once told me that the best advice for interviews, and I've always found this to be true, is eye contact. So always look at the interviewers. And the other thing that really great bit of advice I learned was that it's okay to pause after questions. You don't have to jump right in with an answer. It's okay to stop and think about your answer and then reply. I think, especially when we're younger, we have this natural want to just go blah, 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 and just talk and talk and talk. And actually, by thinking about your answer, it's actually more powerful. But when you're younger, I think sometimes you think that's seen as weakness, but actually it's a strength. So if you're going through that at the moment, that's a tip. And then, you know, if you're further along in your career and you're unhappy, you know, what is it you're unhappy with? You know, is it the work that you're doing? Is it the boss you have? Is it the company you're working for? Figure out what it is that isn't quite fitting, and then change that one thing. So if it's the work you're doing, try something else. See, if you're in a good company, they'll probably let you move into other areas and experiment with other things. If it's your boss, sadly, I have not experienced anywhere yet where dealing with a boss problem, the only really option is to leave, unfortunately, or change departments or something, move away. You have to move away from the boss. I don't know anyone who's successfully won over a bad boss. And then if it's the company because they don't align with your values or how they treat their employees or the culture, then you need to change the company. And maybe at some point, like me, sorry.
I need to support you here, Susan, and say, I am the antithesis of what you just said, in the sense of I wasn't leaving when I should have. Toxic company, toxic boss, or just idiot boss, and I wouldn't leave. And that was on me.
I challenged my boss and his boss and the company, and ultimately they tried to put it all on me and say that I was the problem and that I wasn't in the right job and maybe I needed to do something else. And so, you know, I walked away at that point. But we all hang on a lot longer than we should. You know, I've got one friend who hated her job for about 5 years before she left. Well, I'm too impatient for that. You know, if I don't like something, I'm off. That's it. But we do it. And yeah, and you know, they got to a point where actually I realized, you know, maybe I just don't like being employed. Maybe I want to do something for myself. And I didn't really quite know, honestly, what I did want to do. But I had this idea for a shop because I saw a gap in the market. And so I went for it. And I really, honestly, you know, I had some money and I was prepared to lose it. And I thought, trying this is better than going into another job where I know I'm just going to be unhappy and leave in another 6-12 months. So, you know, I wasn't afraid to fail. In fact, I knew there was a good chance it probably wouldn't work out, but I wanted to do it anyway. And I learned so much from that experience. And, you know, eventually I did set up another business, but it took a while to, I guess I was quite happy where I was when I worked with the spend analytics company until I wasn't anymore. And then it was, right, I don't know where I can get a job doing this. I don't even know if what I do has a job title. So I don't know how to go and look for it. So I either go and set up my own business or I have to find a new career. And I knew how hard it was finding something that I really loved in the first place. So I didn't want to give it up. So yeah, asked a few people, sounded a few boards, sounded quite promising, exhibited at an event where all my potential clients would be, got some really good feedback. And so that was a really good, positive start for me for the business. But also I realized pretty quickly that nobody was Googling for the services that I offered, because nobody else is really offering those services, so they don't know to find me. So calling 100 people a day is not really going to do much. So I needed I needed to not accept that no and find a different way to get people's attention. And so that's where LinkedIn came in. And I just started connecting with lots of procurement people, because that's where I started out. And then I was networking locally. And I found very quickly that it was really hard to describe what I was doing to anybody just out in the general world, including my family. So I did a little video explaining what I did, and it went down really well. So I thought, okay, maybe I should do a couple more of these. So I'd been at an event and I was speaking to a procurement person, and they didn't know what a taxonomy was. And I was like, what? You work with these things? Or so I thought. I was kind of naive. And so then I realized, actually, there's a wider thing. So I started doing, what is a taxonomy? What is spend data classification? What is supplier normalization? And then I guess that's when I caught the attention of the wider data world, who kind of embraced me and welcomed me with their wider arms. And I guess that's why I've always felt like I'm not really a data person. And I've had this debate with my coach quite a lot. And she's like, do you work with data? And I said, yes. She's like, then you're a data person. So in my mind at the beginning, I didn't have any qualifications. I had just learned on the job. I was all self-taught. I thought, I'm not really qualified to call myself a data person, but I am. I just have taken a different route to get to where I am. So the last couple of years, I have just been planting seeds all over the place, trying to get people to notice me, notice what I do, so that when they're ready, they can come and talk to me and ask me for help. And that's really where the book came from as well. I am a terrible reader. I don't enjoy reading at all. It goes in and out. I don't retain the information at all. And so writing a book has never been on my wish list of a tick box of things to do. But I quickly could see that there's nobody else really out there talking about data quality, the really basic stuff, because I think there's a huge assumption that we should all know how to do it, but nobody teaches us how to do it. And it's almost like it's too easy. You don't need to be taught it. But actually, there are ways that you can be more efficient and more accurate and make your life easier doing these things. It's just nobody's been willing to talk about it. So that's why I wrote my book.
Susan, I want to back you up what you're saying right now. So Garth and I are writing a book together with
yes.
Pack.
I feel for you. I know the pain.
Thank you.
I'm still recovering.
Thank you for understanding. And Dennis is one of our mentors as we go through that. But Susan, Garth and I get it. Our book would be a great data science sister book to your book, because we're agreeing with you. In fact, Susan, we're taking it a mile further. We're saying, and Greg is helping us with this a lot too, take the focus off how many machine learning models get into production and convert it to how much return are you getting on your data? And you can't get that high return on data without doing what you teach. In fact, I would say that's what's holding back machine learning adoption, is not seeing what you do as sexy.
Yeah.
Because the insights we gather from that first 80% before we get to the modeling provides, in my opinion, 80% of the insights the organization needs.
Yeah. And the other thing is, so data scientists have an immense skill and can build the most wonderful models. But what is often lacking is context and understanding of the data that they're producing. And so I've had arguments with data scientists because the output is awful, but they will argue black is white, that the model is right and the coding is right and everything's right. And so I think that's where we need to kind of partner up with experts of the data, the area the data's in, so that they can help the data scientists improve the model, improve the quality of the data that comes out. Because I think, it's, data scientists can't do it all.
If Andrew Nigg were here right now, he'd be applauding you. He'd be saying, y'all need to listen to this woman.
But it's true. I think there's a huge, what's the word? Expectation on data scientists to just wave a wand and they can do the whole lot. And actually, it takes a team to build a great data set. And you need different people from different areas of expertise to come together to build it. And actually, very much in the procurement world, there is no specific training that I can find on spend data classification in procurement. You go to the big organization, the membership organizations that accredit, and none of them have training on this. I mean, it's just a huge gap, and yet every single procurement department in every business needs categorized data. They're all kind of just winging it, basically. And if they try to go to, say, IT or finance, they have a different lens, and so the data they get is not what they're looking for. And so, I still can't believe I wrote a book. I wrote an actual book. It's and then the other thing is that I'm really proud of this. So you see a lot of these consultancies building these maturity models that are these big fancy grids with big fancy words, and you've got to figure out. Dennis, you got a question?
Oh, I get to bad lip read him. He's saying, Susan, you're so awesome. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's what I was saying. That's what I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say, in fact. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. So, these consultants try to make things way more technical and complicated than they need to be. So it's quite small, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it very well, but this is my dirty data maturity model. So it starts with dirty laundry on the left. Then that dirty laundry is in a pile, so it's getting a little bit more organized. Then it's getting ready to be ironed. Then it gets put in the wardrobe, but it's still not quite organized. And then the ultimate, of course, is dirt-free data, which is perfectly organized, categorized. But the thing about that is, once you've reached the pinnacle, that's where the hard work really starts, because it doesn't stay like that for very long. You have to maintain it and work really hard to keep it at that level. So, you could show that picture to anybody in any organization, no matter where they worked, from the receptionist up to the CEO, and they'd be able to understand that to some degree, which is what we need. We need to make data more accessible and relatable to the people who are not necessarily data people, because they're the ones that input most of the dirty data. So
excellent.
That's
now,
my
Susan,
approach.
I'm trying to manage what I sense from our family as a slight revolt. That they're loving you. You may not be able to tell. Everyone that's ever come here and spoke, they walk away going, I can't believe, wow, what a wonderful dynamic. I want to ask you one question related to your background talk before we let them sweep you with questions. And it's this. I've always sensed that you loved your experience with your shop, and you didn't really see it as a failure, but it's just a big learning lesson. Will you just expand on that shop experience you had?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, it absolutely felt like a huge failure, but when I looked back, I can't even believe I did this. So, I went and found a property. I went and signed a sublease, had a solicitor, found an accountant, did a business plan. I chose all the interior design of the shop and the colors on the walls and the wallpaper, and then got somebody to fit it out. I bought all the clothing for the shop, which actually was just like a huge shopping spree. That was the best part. Then I had to deal with staff, and oh my God, that's the worst, because that's the first time I learned that they just don't give a shit. Like, it's like, especially something like a shop, you know, it might be your business, but they don't care. They just want to come in and get paid, you know. I remember I guess that was my first experience of actually learning to communicate super clearly as if you're talking to a 5-year-old, because I asked one of the ladies that was working for me to dust everything, and she was just dusting round things. I didn't think I had to be specific enough to say you have to take everything off the shelf and properly clean it and put them back. So I learned a lot. You know, and this was someone training to be a nurse. I mean, it's terrifying, honestly. But yeah, so learned a lot. And then when it all fell through and I didn't have any money left, I had to wind up the company myself. I had to write all the letters to the suppliers and deal with all the bailiffs and the calls and everything. So, I mean, that really was like one of the toughest things, apart from my mum dying. So I'm like, if I can survive that, then everything else is just a bit easier. I think, Jonathan, have you got a question?
Yeah, let's go into questions. Thank you. Jonathan, please. Oh, I get to bad lip read. Susan, you are so gorgeous, and I really loved everything you said. Jonathan, you'll have to come off mute if you don't want me to keep.
While he's coming off mute, I just wanted to say,
Kim was before me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. But I just wanted to respond to the Lego comment. I actually did a post maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, and it says Lego move over, there's a new infographic in town, because I was like, I want to be the new infographic, not Lego.
You're the infographic queen now, the queen of infographics. All right, Kimberly, Jonathan has yielded his spot to you.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Okay, so Susan, first of all, you know that I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm still waiting on your book. It has not come to my house yet.
Apparently, it's going to be another few weeks, although I have emailed the publisher and he said that they're being air freighted, so there shouldn't be supply chain issues unless there's you've got trucking issues in the US as well, because we're short of truck drivers here. I don't know if you've heard.
Absolutely. But so I wanted you to know, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it. And I think that one of the things that is so great about you, so it's not so much a question as a comment leading into a request for response. The one got snacks. It's time. You can't make noise with that.
Wait.
You have to mute, Tom. We're hearing your chips.
I'll go on mute so you can't hear me chew.
So one of the things that I think is really fantastic about what you and people like Dave on Data are doing is that you are making data literacy more accessible to a lot of people. And I did not
mean to mute everyone. I think I accidentally did that, guy. Go on ahead, Susan.
So anyway, it's really it's really great that you're doing this aspect of bringing data really to people who need it, because for the future, everyone needs to be data literate. It's really not about just data scientists and, you know, whether or not you're working with models or anything that you're doing in business going forward is going to be dealing with data. Yeah. And so I think what you're doing is fantastic. And you might not even realize, but you are an evangelist. You know, you are someone who is going out and helping regular people understand how things work, which I think is phenomenal. So I just want to thank you.
It's been a happy accident. You know, I was really passionate about it. And yeah, it was a way to grow my business. Thank you. And actually there is a true story in the book. So while I started this business, I also did some temp work to supplement my income, and I was managing a team, and I had a politics student, and I asked her to set up a meeting between us and someone else, and she hadn't done it like the next day or the day after, and I was like, "Can you set that meeting up?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, can you do it?" She's like, I don't know how." I was like, "You're a politics student at university and you don't know how to set up a meeting," and like, but where's the inquisitiveness there? You know, like if I don't know something, I'll just press a few buttons, and you know, where do we need to teach people that a bit more, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. And I think that what I wanted your response to is what you think about all of these companies who are now coming out and calling themselves, you know, data matching experts, people who are, you know, basically selling all of this, you know, clean data or the process of how to clean this data. And how do you see how do you see the future of people who are not big businesses, of people just like you who start their own businesses, who want to learn about data and want to learn about how to use data? What is your advice, besides obviously buying your book? But what is your advice to them?
So that's it, yes, the way that me and my team do things manually is probably the most accurate way to do it. But when you're speaking large volumes of data, we can get the data to a place where it's great, but then really you do need something to manage it ongoing. And I think there's a gap in the communication between what the software can actually do and what people think it can do. And again, it's that, you need the clean data really before you start doing it, or you need to understand what the data should look like at the other end of it to know if it's working or not. And this whole, buy our software and we'll fix all your problems thing has to change, because I have heard of so many, like tens of millions of dollars worth of projects like failing because they didn't fix the data first. And I had 4 inquiries in one day this week, and 2 of them were implementation projects where part of the implementation had already taken place. They hadn't cleaned the data, and it's an absolute, excuse my language, shit show now. And they're in real trouble. So they're now looking to work with me to clean that data before they implement it in their other areas. And this is so unbelievably common. And years and decades on, we're still having the same problems. And the reason that I think there's more problems than ever is there's more data than ever, there's more software than ever. And, at the end of the day, you still have to know your data and work with it to know if it's right or it's wrong. And I think there's a real literacy problem with that too. People are giving charts to board members, analytics, and not even sure the data is right. And there's nobody there to challenge it or check it. And CEOs should, even if it's something as simple as a pivot table, which I've got in the book, they should be able to interrogate the data and check that it's right.
Excellent. I love all this.
I think more and more people will, and I think people are afraid to come out and say, the software doesn't work unless you need this, that, and the next thing. People don't like that. They don't want to ruin their reputation, whereas I'm like, I don't care about my reputation. I'm a lip syncing whatever. So, I've already ruined it. It's fine.
I miss your lip syncing. I haven't seen the lip syncing in a while.
It's Follow Lip Sync Sunday because it's on every Sunday.
Oh, it's still going?
Is.
Okay. I don't know why it's not there.
I defend her. What we need to do, Susan, so that no one in our family misses Lip Sync Sunday. Forgive me for not doing this sooner. I think I did invite you, but we'll have you join our Slack work group. And you know how you post your links that you want supported? You can do that in our family Slack too. You'll get good support. Let's go to Jonathan's question.
Okay. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you again. All good. Thank you.
The family?
Yeah, brilliant. Doing well. So, yeah. And your new house? Better? All good? Still not.
Yeah. Now you can't see, but now I've got Robbie and 3D Susan, so I've got a whole family here now.
Awesome. Now, so so one thing I think you mentioned, I can't remember if you mentioned it in the post or it was part of your TED talk, I'm not quite sure, but you say that some people or some companies or some, let's say consultancies can be put off by your persona and how you come across on some of the media, like LinkedIn and stuff like that. How do you go about combating that and saying no, this is me? I mean, I really like your character. I think it brings some fun and energy into the space, but how do you combat that rejection that you have?
Well, actually, I'm not sure if I actually see the rejection. So what it's done for me is like 95% of my business is inbound via LinkedIn. So people have seen me, they know what I'm like, they know my personality, but they also know what I can do. So it's almost like a filter before people come to me, because The people who have decided they don't want to work with me, I don't hear from them. So it's fine. The people that do come through and then are really excited. And then it's a case of, right, how can we make this happen? So I think just by accepting that, and actually I have to say, a lot more people are excited to work with me than I expected. I thought that I might just be a bit too unprofessional for the LinkedIn world, but actually that's not the case at all. There are so many people on LinkedIn who have a sense of humor, and are fine with the way I conduct my business and myself. And I have cornered a specific market, and actually there's a lot more people out there. And also, actually, at the end of the day, I am the only option, really, unless you want to use one of the big four who will charge you a lot of money to do something, not do it, and then walk off. That's what I hear a lot. So yeah, you just have to, you can't please everybody, because if you try to please everyone, you'll please no one.
Yeah.
I think you've created a beautiful niche. Everyone knows, wow, this woman's authentic. She's real, and she's bringing pithy language to clean data at the level that Scott Taylor brings pithy language to data management. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think you have to just be a bit brave sometimes, and actually there was I think I got shadow banned on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, after one of the lip syncs, actually, where I had like smudged makeup, and because I lost a lot of followers after that, and then my views went down to like 500 a day on some posts. It really, really fell off a cliff.
Wow.
But you have to. Well, you don't have to, but I'm prepared to take
what is that? What did you do? You mean you put makeup on?
Yeah. So there's a song called One Drink, and I was only supposed to go for one drink. And then it was like, I do bad things. I fall in a cab, I rack up a tab, and all that kind of stuff. And so I literally looked like I'd just come from a night out, with all my mascara down my face, and, smudged my lipstick. And yeah, even, so I got kind of LinkedIn jailed this week. But that was because I did Kate's Datacated. This is what I think it was. I did a huge poll on Monday, which got a lot of views. Then I did the Datacated conference the next day, and I put my QR code up at the end of it. And LinkedIn basically kind of locked me out for a bit, saying, we think you've had too many profile views, or you've viewed too many other people. And I've been away on holiday, so I haven't had time to look at other people's profiles. So I really think that was it. So I did a post about it, and then I got apologies from LinkedIn Help, and then another part of LinkedIn emailed me and said, oh, we're really sorry. So I'm like, wow, I feel really special now. Not everybody gets this kind of treatment. So yeah, so I'm definitely on the radar. But I do so much. Yeah, I guess most of my content is selling without selling.
That's awesome.
I hate direct selling, and so I'm just trying to get people interested. Like my Friday song, I loved this week's Friday song. I'm every guru, the spreadsheets are in me. Any data you want done, baby, I'll classify it, or something like that. So I just have so much fun when I'm doing it. So and whatever you do in life, that would be my best advice, was enjoy whatever you're doing.
I love this. I'm glad I put my hand up so I could make sure I had a spot in line, because I could sense there was more coming. And this is so in case you guys haven't picked up on Susan and I's friendship with our fun bantering and comments, I haven't done it in a while because I'm busier
the voice
than usual.
Inside your head, Tom.
Yes, that's right. I remember my fashion conscience.
Yeah.
We hopefully we will do more commercials together, because that's the funnest
you need
part.
to come up with something else once you've finished the book will drain and suck the life out of you first.
I'm actually thinking of a Tom Marshall for the classification guru, but this is a thought about, okay, I care about Susan, but I also care about future Susan. And before you came on this morning, the brothers and the sisters were talking about, hey, let's have this not really a mock argument, but an argument that gets to a point. And so, Dennis, how can we future-proof? Well, I'm not saying we can do it, but Susan, if you get disrupted, I want it to be by you. So, Dennis, I'm going to pull you in just for a minute before soup time, before we could possibly upset Catherine, and ask, is there a way you would advise Susan to future-proof herself with her work?
So from what I see, like my intuition, so just before I leave, do send me your, the picture for the family and the names that will be in the session and the time. Okay. Do it this weekend so I can send something out on Monday. Now I can run a few minutes late for Susan, of course.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. So let me, I'm an intuitive person. So just let me tell you what's off my mind. So first I can see you have a lot of natural power to do what you want. You're not afraid to be on makeup or do all these things. So
or no makeup today. Yeah.
No, I mean what you did, like when you looked like
oh
you
yeah,
came out of a
a
party.
couple of people did say, oh, you're
So
really
that
brave.
means that you can do things that are a bit unusual. Now there's something that could give you a lot of consistency. I think you can do it because you have this natural power. This will be part of the debate, of course, where I'll be making Tom and all the people there suffer, and they'll make me suffer because we're gonna have this little boxing match. I'll tell you what I would do, since you're pretty good at data, and of course your dirty data is an excellent example, but that's often where I had to start from when I was in a corporation. I did hundreds of projects. So I would go into these tough supply chain projects and get, on an average, 10 million customer orders or 2 million customer orders. 75% of the data is missing. It's dirty. It's unworkable. So I get there, let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, and the manager says, what are we going to do? And I say, well, you know what? By the end of the day, I'll have built your schedule. Is how can you build a schedule, data that dirty, 75% is missing. How can you do it? How that's not even possible. I don't believe you. So what I would say is, I don't care. Don't pay me for the day. At the end of the day, if you like it, you pay me. But I want a sandwich at noon because I'm hungry. So you just pay me a sandwich. So my secret is that I live the data. I think you could do something like that the way I hear you, because I don't care. I don't really care what's going on in offices. So what I would do is, for example, in Morocco, I don't know why this came up right now. Morocco, I went to a factory in Morocco and the people gave me the data. There was the data? There was no data. So I said, how do you want to, okay, you want to play that game? 5 o'clock the next morning, I was in the workshop. And I was in the workshop with the workers. I took the rolls of cloth out of the trucks with them. I went to the storage rooms. I carried the cloth into the workshops. I spread the cloth with the guys. Of course, this wasn't my first project. I knew how to use one of their cutting machines. I used the cutting machines. And I was getting the sense of the whole process. And then I went to the sewing machines, and I could use those too, because that's the way I am. I do things first. And then I went to the packaging and the whole thing. And then I went back to the office. They want to play that game? Okay, give me the data you have. And all I had to do, now I'm giving Tom some ideas for our challenge here. All I had to do is build a graph to see how all that fit in together, put it and run something that made it into a sequence, put the data that was okay into it, and then run some models I have to fill in the rest. And by the end of the day, I said, this is the way it's going to be. And the guy says, how much am I going to earn with that? I say, I think I just save you like 5 or 6% of your whole process. So now he's going to say, I'll give you anything you want to clean the data. Now you'd be the queen. See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Go down to the trucks. You say, your data's fine. Show me what it is. Because
I do that. Normally,
Yeah.
the people that come to me really want to work with me. The problem is getting sign off from higher up the organization, because a lot of the stuff I do is not very tangible. But that's the reason why I've got the book now, and just doing lots of talks, getting people to think about it in a different way.
Yeah, but even if it's abstract, like predictions, I had to do forecasts for sales.
Yeah.
So I would say, what do you want to forecast? What are you forecasting for our shops? Okay, bye-bye. I'd go to the shops. I'd talk to the shopkeepers. I'd talk to the people, the workers, behind. And sometimes I found there's this brand you might know, Chanel. Channel. So I was working for them, and they were just saying all kinds of nonsense in their offices, and the data, was ridiculous. So I said, I'm out of here. I'm going into the warehouse. So I went into the warehouse, and I just sat there and watched the movements. And all of a sudden, I see this worker, curious. I said, come over here. Tell me how to do this. He says, I know how to do this. I even have a computer at home. I like to play around. He gave me the solution. So often I found the solution on the floor. So Tom, get ready.
Just said that to a potential client yesterday. Yeah.
So Tom, get ready for the battle. Now Kimberly seems to be already siding with me. That's a problem.
Well, so Dennis, what you don't know is, I was planning to lose to you anyway, not intentionally, but I do have some other cards up my sleeve to argue against.
I want us to be like in a judo dojo, and I want you to throw me around a bit.
I like the way Hugo-san put it. He said, I'll be Angel's advocate. So I appreciated that. Now, hand raisers, let me put my hand down, but hand raisers, I'm going to need your help. Between Magdi and Gozi and Valerie, you guys probably know who Magdi?
I'll go
Valerie,
last.
I think.
I have to go now. So can I say goodbye, Tom?
Oh, please.
So great to meet you.
Really so Susan, I was glad to meet you, and I really love the story about your problem on LinkedIn where you look bad, because when you look bad, it means you're thinking in different ways. That means that's good. And then I like the image where you went from the dirty data to the good data. So I hope to see you soon. And
yes.
I can give you help on LinkedIn too if you want me to promote your book.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what is it, on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the American Library Association, bookshop.org. You can get
Tom, can you send me a link at the same time you send me the stuff?
Yeah.
So, I'll buy it, Susan. I don't want a free copy. I'll buy it on Kindle.
Oh, thanks. I have to buy my copies too. So I don't have any free copies.
I'm an author. I like author rights. I don't like to give stuff out free.
Yeah,
okay.
No. Next time I'll definitely negotiate more copies.
Okay, so see you soon.
Bye, Dennis.
Bye, Denise.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, Magdi, we're eager to hear your questions, sister.
I think it was with Valerie the first, right?
Guy has spoken, and we all know that Guy is second in charge.
I think Valerie, Gozi, Magdi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very good. Thanks for being honest, Valerie.
Okay. Susan, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's just
pleasure.
Really great to see you. And I can't wait to read your book. So I want to say at the beginning of your talk, you recommended that we add to our skill set. And so I was thinking, were there skills that you learned even going through those basic jobs that you felt really were, kind of vital to helping you move forward? I guess I'm just looking at if there are things that, maybe we should be thinking about as well as we're trying to build our skill sets that you found really valuable.
Absolutely. So, all I did was classification normalization. That was my thing. And then I started tidying up some databases for people. And then I was like, I can apply my methodology of how I work in the software I use to this as well. So then I developed a way to do that. And And now I'm dealing with huge databases. I'm working on a project right now where I'm merging 28 different Excel files of customer names from different events, bringing them all together into one clean new database. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it gave me confidence to do things that I didn't even know I could do. And actually also I've been asked, about, can you do this, that, and the next thing? Somebody's asked me to potential project where they need some latitudes and longitudes. And they're like, can you do that? I'm like, well, we've never done it before, but we certainly can do, yeah. You just have to.
That's excellent.
Go say yes and figure it out later, as Richard Branson says.
I agree with that. That's awesome. Valerie, is that covered, or you want to?
I think it sounds to me like Excel was a skill that you've really worked on and know well and are able to use in your business there. I just didn't know if there were other skills in particular that you thought were really valuable to learn.
Well, actually, it's not Excel. I've had to reverse engineer I use Omniscope, which is a data modeling and visualization tool. So I've had to reverse engineer everything I do in Omniscope to find a way to do it in Excel, because I want to make it available to everybody.
Okay.
Now, is Omniscope something that others can acquire? Is it one word or two words? Omniscope?
As you put it, it's just visokio.com is the website.
You can drop it in the chat for us. Yeah. Excellent question, Valerie. Thank you.
Yeah, a month's free trial, so you can try it. They have there's a desktop-based version, which is the classic, and then there's a cloud-based version as well. So it's the only tool I know where you can actually data model and output and build visualizations in the same tool, which is great because I can manipulate the data in the top and edit it underneath, and so live time I can see how it's changing. So
great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Sister Magdi, thanks for your patience.
Isn't it Nosy?
She volunteered to go last.
Okay, good. Then I will go. Thank you very much, Susan. It is really nice to see you again. Yeah, and I have to. Let me start with how I see your path, because I really admire that you basically find your niche up, or you started with small steps, and then you figured out, okay, what you can do and what you want to do, and then you find your niche, and on the way you also build up yourself. So I mean your brand.
Yeah. Oh, I've lost sound.
Magdi, can you hear me, Magdi? We have lost your audio. I'm going to suggest you turn off your camera. It might help your bandwidth.
No. I don't know if she can hear you.
Magdi,
can you hear us?
I think it's the headset.
We somehow lost your audio,
Take the headset
Magdi.
off.
It's on mute now.
Okay, Magdi.
Guys, can you unmute
good.
her?
Someone let her know. Thanks, Seema. I don't think Magdi.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, try to go off camera so that you have more bandwidth.
Okay, I will go off camera.
Yeah.
But where did you lose me? Or
about
did you hear
a minute
anything?
ago.
I mean, in which
Start it again, I think, Magdi.
Yeah, just start again.
Okay. I will start again. Sorry for this technical issue. So I was just talking about it, that I really admire the Susan path, because she started with small jobs and temporary jobs to pick up skills, first of all, also to find out what she is good at, what she loves to do, what she's capable to do. and then she finds her niche, basically. So it was really a smart step, because and it's a very important step, I think, that you find your niche and start through your failures, and that is, I think, it's really important that what lessons you learned through that failure, for example, with the shop. And then on the way, when you were building up your business, you were building up yourself as well, building up your brand as well, which is amazing, because as Tom put it in the chat, you could really differentiate yourself. And I find you really on LinkedIn, I really liked you from the beginning, because you were so genuine and authentic.
Oh, thank you.
And I think it is
that
so
means a
important.
lot. That means more than anything else.
And it's not only, it's not the skills or the brand, the personal branding, but it came through. And as you said, there are people who might not like your style, but there are a lot of people with sense of humor. And I fully agree with that one. And you can rely on that. And you were brave enough to say that, okay, here I am, this is my business, this is what I can do for you. And on the other hand, it was really a brave moment to say that on the other side, I'm a funny guru.
Yeah.
So it is a brand itself. So I really liked it.
Oh,
so
thank you.
that is just feedback. And my first question is back to your TED Talk, because I really liked it. It was really concise. It was really motivational for me. And I would just like to know a little bit more about this, say no to no. So what is the trick? How can you balance this out when you are facing an obstacle?
Yeah.
And it is like, how can you turn the impossible to possible? And
I think you disappeared there, but basically, our natural reaction as soon as we get a no, which doesn't always appear as a no, it could be a rejection, a deferment, a postponement, or something like that. Our natural reaction is to go, okay, and accept it. So you have to really recognize these no's as no's, and whatever they are. It's something stopping you from getting to where you want to go. So that's the first thing. And then you have to look at, well, how can I make this happen? And sometimes you won't be able to make it happen. But are there other ways around this? So, when I didn't get into university, I had foreseen that there was going to be a problem. So I had asked if I could do summer school to make up the grades over the summer. They said, no, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. And of course I failed. And then they were like, no, you're not coming in. And so my dad said, no, you tried to fix this solution. You need to go back to them. So I pushed back hard on them and said, look, I tried to fix this. You told me it would be fine. And now you're telling me I can't come in. That's on you. And what, just even this business, it was, if on paper, it looked like it was doomed to fail. I had no connections in the industry, no experience in the industry. I had, nobody else was doing it. Those are all things that people would say to you, oh, don't do it. So, I did a bit of research and I went with my gut. It could be you don't get the job you want. So then you have to ask yourself, right, could I work in this company somewhere else and work into that role? Or do they have similar roles in that company? Are there similar roles in another company I could work at? Do I want to defer for a couple of months and see if whoever they recruit doesn't work out? Because people are on, probation periods and it doesn't always work out. Do you want to wait and see and just keep in touch with the HR people and see if anything happens? There's a lot of different ways you can approach it and think about it, but you have to kind of train your mind to not just automatically accept a rejection. Even like if you want to start a bit, sorry.
Did you have a trick for that? Because I think that is the biggest challenge, that you change your mindset, that how you adopt to rejection, or how do you accept that rejection and not to lose your self-confidence or self-esteem?
I mean, I guess I was just born stubborn, which
And
helps a
resilient.
lot. Yeah. But for example, say you wanted there's people in here who want to set up their own business and you can't get the funding right now. Rather than just throw the whole plans out the window, why don't you work for an extra year and save up some money and then try and get some funding to set the business up in another year? You know, why does it have to be right now? It's just start. I would say just start by starting to recognize no's in everyday life. You know, like I said in the talk, you know, you go to the supermarket and your favorite brand not being there is a form of a no. You're going to just choose a different brand instead. That is still a no. Somebody's saying, no, you can't have your favorite brand. So just start recognizing those little things and then see how you feel about it. And if you feel disappointed that you can't get what you want, then pursue it further. Look at alternative ways. Get on Google. Find alternatives.
Yeah, I think that is the point, that you have to think out of the box and find alternatives, because if you are really fixed on your plan, you cannot iterate. So you will not see the other options.
Oh, people ask me all the time, what's your 5-10 year plan? I have no plans. I don't, because if I'm the kind of person, if I have a plan, I have to stick to it, and then I'm not open to anything else. I have to follow the rules. So by not having any plans, it means I'm open to all these different opportunities. I have a direction, but I don't have a plan.
This is
I think now I have to skip my second question. Sorry, Tom. Sorry.
No, Maggie, please. It was just a crossover. Please keep going.
No, my second question would have been that not your 5-year plan, but what is next? What is your direction? Where do you want to grow? What in which direction you see yourself?
Yeah, I really don't think any further ahead than a few 6 months, maybe 12 maximum. So my next thing is I want to build a suite of online training courses, some procurement specific, some more generalist data. I'm doing stuff with O'Reilly, and also I've signed with Pluralsight, but I want to have my own stuff as well. I was hoping to do that before the end of the year, but realistically things are a bit crazy, so it's probably going to be next year now. But I think I've done enough this year, to be honest. I think I've ticked enough off the list. Longer term, I would like a few more people to work for me. I'm getting a Kickstarter here in the UK, which is funded by the government. So I'm going to take on a young person and train them up. And maybe in about 10 years, maybe sell the business off if it's viable. But I just want to just keep having fun and love doing what I'm doing. I don't want to become this big, massive company that floats and all that kind of stuff. It's, I'll always be a small niche.
So Susan, I wanted to encourage you. And this is the kind of philosophies that Garth and I are developing for the book that we will eventually write in the future called Integrating Brilliance. But it's the spirit of, Susan, to me, you're acting wiser than someone that comes up with a plan and won't modify or bend the plan. It's a spirit of, it's been proven mathematically now when we look at reinforced learning. I'm going to change the language of reinforced learning and apply it to what we're talking about. A reinforced learning agent comes up with a crap initial plan, operates on it, stops, looks back, thinks about it, learns some more, and then revises the plan and starts off again until it achieves success. And actually, Susan, I think the way you're going about it follows the conventional wisdom even from the 50s. Plans are crap, but planning is indispensable. If you keep modifying your plan, you get there.
But actually, you've just raised something that I just really should flag as well, is that, the worst thing you can do is compare yourself to other people. You're in your own race, you're in your own, stay in your own lane. Everyone else is on a different timeline, different budget, different trajectory. It can be really easy to get sucked into comparing yourself to someone else and feel like a complete failure, even when you're doing really well. So, just focus on your own goals or destination or whatever it is that you have. that'll help keep you on track as well.
Well said. Excellent. Magdi, if it's okay, we can move to Ngozi now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Thanks.
Good questions, Magdi. Thank you. Okay, Ngozi.
Hello, Susie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a while. I'm really
I
so
know.
sorry.
I hope you've been behaving I hope you've been behaving yourself.
Always, always, always. No questions because everybody, Susan and I, well, we know each other from LinkedIn, don't we? So
Oh, we do.
really
Yeah.
just to give you a bit of solidarity.
Thank you. I know you're always looking out for me.
You know that I don't have to say, but I want the family here to know that as well. Susan is one of mine. So please, everybody, welcome her, embrace her. She's my, she's my very, very, very dear, very, very dear to me. So,
I'm not surprised, y'all.
So hands off, everyone. I belong to Ngozi.
We still have to do that drink, right? We still have to. Oh yeah.
Well, it's more likely now.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll catch up soon. Yeah.
Definitely.
Loving everything you're doing and looking out for more. You're still climbing.
There will always be more.
Oh yeah, you're still climbing. So yeah, always there to cheer you on every step of the way, every step. So Tom, not much to say. Susan is yeah. She's yeah.
Not much to say.
We're officers in the same fan club in Ngozi. I'm not surprised you guys are close. I didn't know it, but I'm not surprised. And Susan, now that I've got to tell you, sometimes Susan and I get a little flirtatious in our comments back and forth. And I've been meaning to tell her. I've been meaning to tell her, I hope to come see you in person so I can destroy Cardboard Robbie because I'm jealous of him.
Come. I will pick you from the airport. Come.
Well, I was going to say, I'm just waiting on the travel confirmation. But all being well, I will be in San Diego for the Dataversity event in December, doing a 3-hour workshop. So, if you're in the area.
Nice. Now, I might have lost track. Oh, and by the way, we're trying to standardize, just like we have pre-soup time with Dennis, we're trying to standardize in Ngozi's corner. So I'm glad we had some time with her today. I'm glad we had time with Val today. I'm pretty sure Ashish is next.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Ashish, go for it, please.
Hi, Susan. It was really inspiring.
Hey, pretty in pink today.
Yes. So your journey was really inspiring. It is to me, and I have during this session only, I have taken many points which I can learn from your journey. One of the things I would want you to elaborate more is during your start of your business, you found that maybe other people working in your business did not sync with your destinations. So how did you make them eventually do that? How did you make them?
I guess yeah. So with the shop, it closed, so that was the end of the problem. But then I had the same issue last year with some contractors. So they were contractors, so they're much easier to release when it doesn't work out. And I let go of all of them. And I had managed all these people before in another business, but when it was my business, they were letting me down, and I just couldn't have that. So I got rid of all of them, and then I started with a new clean team in January, and this one's been great. So it's not always about fixing the, sometimes it's better just to remove the problem, I think, so for me, it was an attitude problem. You can change and upskill people and train them, but you can't change attitudes. And if that's the problem, then you have to just walk away.
Just a follow-up question to Magdi's question earlier. So this might be to Tom and Susan both. So let's say we define one particular destination and we end up having a different opportunity, which might, how do we evaluate between two opportunities that we go along the way and which might change our destination altogether?
That happened
This
to
is a
me.
generic question. Yeah.
No, yeah, no, it was a really good one, and it did happen to me. So during the 4 years, I did some temp work, and then I think it was 2 years ago now, maybe 3. Things were really quiet, and I didn't have any pipeline. There was no work coming in, and I was offered a full-time contract employment with this company. Went to go work with them. I was there for like 3 months, and after 2 months, actually, I knew it just wasn't right. And at the time, I had to make that decision: do I focus on the business, or do I take this job to get some money? And so it detracted me from my destination, and it could have led to new opportunities. For me, it didn't work out, and at the end, I left after 3 months and realized, I have to give the business 100% now, to see if it's really going to work. And it was a really tough year and a half where there wasn't an awful lot of work coming in, but there was a lot of opportunity and interest. Without the support of my dad and my family, I wouldn't have made it through. But then, 18 months ago or so, that's when things really just started to get a bit more steady. But my workflow goes like this. It's a constant up and down. You just get used to the uncertainty.
Yeah.
I just have the faith that something's round the corner.
Ashish, I want to share something it's a lesson that my dad first got me to think about when I was younger than you, and I think I'm still learning it. I'm trying to expose myself in a way where I receive rejection more often. I receive failure more often. And it's been very liberating, but this was the initial lesson. I remember it like it was yesterday, standing in the entryway of our little house, and my dad walked up and handed me a sheet of paper. There was no internet back then. There were no devices. And it was a list of this guy's things that had happened in his life. And it literally read like failure, failure, failure. There might have been a little high point, but most of the time it was failure, 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 failure. And then it finally got to the bottom: elected president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Here's this noted greatest leader ever of our country, and yet he did experience all this failure, but it formed him. And so I want to encourage all of you, please quit worrying about imposter syndrome. Keep worrying about rejection and failure. Just keep trying. Just keep putting your name out there. Keep trying things. Another story. Susan's one of the gutsiest people I know. The Warby Parker guys, Adam Grant, the famous organizational psychologist, took a look at them when they were a startup. And he asked them point blank, "Are you guys going full time?" "No, we're just kind of hedging it. We're keeping our day jobs. We're working this hard on the side." He didn't invest in them because they didn't look like the model he was used to. After they went big, he went to his wife and said, "I need you to take over the investments now because I don't trust myself anymore." In other words, here's Susan being very different from everyone else on LinkedIn. Here's the Warby Parker guys being very different. When you look at, if you just even study Richard Branson alone, that guy's weird. And he would chuckle if he heard me say that and say, "You're damn right, Tom." He goes for it all the time, though. And even one of our most famous comedians in our country, Will Ferrell, he used to put article or letters from anti-fans, like just roasting him for how rude he was to someone that he had, imitated. And he said, "You know what? My career is about throwing darts. I don't always hit the bull. I rarely hit the bullseye, and I sometimes miss the board, but I'm going to keep throwing them." And I tell you what, the longer I've followed his career and the more I listen to him off camera, well, off character, with his own character, or I've watched him receive the Mark Twain Award, I've just grown from almost detesting him, and unfairly, by the way, to just thinking you're a role model for people. Now, I'm not saying go out and act like Ricky Bobby or Anchorman. But I'm just saying he's a comedian, and he has a big heart about the way he goes about it. I sense you wanting to add something on this point, Susan.
Yeah, it's don't try and be like someone else. You have to be yourself. Because there's a lot of people out there. Sorry.
I said I was just going to say that, because don't model any other person's path, because your path will always be different, and there's no point listing out the steps Susan has taken and then trying to mimic it and expecting it to end exactly the same way. So I think what it is be very convinced of the things you want to achieve and recognize the opportunities that come your way, act on them, and just keep working at it, but don't mimic any other person's path. That's just what I wanted to add. I'm sorry for cutting you in.
Yeah, no, that was great. And you'll see a lot of people on LinkedIn who are trying to be other people, like other people, and that's where you lose that authenticity.
Absolutely. Just sorry, I was typing a goodbye to Jonathan. Okay, I love all this interchange. These questions have been great. We're pulling out the magic of Susan Walsh, which is, well, it's easy to do, but this family does it better than anyone. But now we've saved the best for, well, the latest, Guy. Have you ever talked to Guy, Susan?
We have on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So Guy is my brother. He's my best friend in the world. We're writing a book together.
And your co-author, yeah.
He's got a magic mind. I'm excited for you to be exposed to it more right now.
I think this time is for sure not for Susan, but I think this time I will make a lot of concern about what I'm saying. Okay, I will start from the last point, which is don't try to be anyone else. Okay, but at the end, this is destroying our mentality as data scientists. Classification, clustering. It's not possible, I think, to have 7 billion cluster in the world. There is similarity. Now, I'm not telling anyone to follow or to find the path of others. No, not like this. But at least we have to know ourselves. Let's name it like this. We have to know our possibility. Where are we? And then move. The other thing that I was listening a lot when you are speaking, Susan, it was great. It was clear for me, but maybe nobody highlighted like this. Don't wait. Wait is not an option. It's not a final step. It's only one step might appear when it's needed, and it has to be very controlled. Don't wait. This is the most important thing. And also, when you don't have a plan and you have a direction, this is a plan itself. So this is the concern that I want to share. That's the only thing. Thank you. It's really nice to listen to you.
Yeah, it's great to finally meet.
Very awesome. Very awesome. You should have bad lip read me. That's a new rule we have, Susan. If someone talks on mute, we get to bad lip read them.
I love bad lip reading. Have you
if I can say something about Guyat's point, and about me saying, don't copy, or you can't be any other person. So you learn from people. There are certain things you learn from people, and that's how we're wired. But am I going to take a prototype of your life and then recreate every step you've taken in life and do exactly what you've done? Is that being like you?
I will make another analogy to it. For example, if we imagine an image with 250 pixel by 250 pixel, for example, and then we are randomly generate. This is the example. This is not mine. I just cloned it from one person. He's a fantastic one. Okay, just randomly generate the values for each pixel. You will reach to the huge number of images at the end for each possibility, but at the end it's limited. The count of this is limited. But what is there in this limited count of images? It's everything. everything in the history, in the future, in the past, it will be represented on that limited, huge number of images. So this is what I'm trying to say, is if there is a limited option at the end, even if it's large number, but it's limited, then it's very nice to take the lesson not only from your own experience, also it's good to take the lessons from other experience. So
exactly.
you are
So
not
in taking
exactly
yeah,
yes.
in taking those lessons from different people, you actually create a new one. So what I was,
even if it's a new, but it's there in that list, limited list at the end.
No,
There's
what
no
I'm saying is by taking lessons from you, from Tom, from Susan, and putting them together, then I'm creating a hybrid path.
For sure.
That's all I'm saying. We will learn, of course, we learn from everybody. I've had offline chats with Susan. We've gone on video together, walking through her path, sharing learnings, and and that's what we do every day. You will learn from people. There are people who are going to ask you, which university did you go to? What course did you do? And they'll go and register for that course. But maybe that is where your tangent and DS will cross. But then mapping out your life and then walking in exactly the same path as you do, I've never seen it exactly give the same result. That's all I'm saying.
I will tell you, here's something very important. By the way, I don't want to encourage anyone to do that. That means just following the steps, the same steps. This is nothing.
Yeah.
This will lead for nothing. But at the end, we have to know that not all the people, they have the same ability to find the lesson, the suitable lesson.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes it's safer to just follow 100%.
Okay, let me rephrase what I said. So when if you go, you can, what I'm saying is that it's about your expectation. I'm not even talking about the steps you take. You can recreate the steps. I've had someone, and I've done it before, sometimes you admire someone and then you decide to, they did this course, and then you go and do it, right? But the outcome from it, you've done the same course with them. You've gone to work, maybe in the same company, but maybe your path, at a point you diverge because there are inputs every day into your life and into their lives that diverge your paths. But what I'm saying is that some people become a clone. Somebody can decide on LinkedIn now to clone Susan and start behaving the way she does and doing everything she does. And it to be a poor copy of Susan because the person is not Susan. It's difficult for the person to have the same persona, do lip syncing and do all of them exactly the way she does it. So, and I see people who sort of get into that mode of, if I do exactly what this person does, I'm going to have exactly the same outcome. And that's all I was talking about. Are you going to learn from people?
No. I think
day.
Yes, Ngozi. I think even if the personality itself, it will change the outcome. So yes, exactly. I agree with you. Exactly.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, though, I've seen people try to post similar things to me or use a similar style. And what happens is people message me with these posts saying, I thought of you. So it actually deflects attention from the person who's done it to me.
To you again.
So you have to be careful if you go down that path of imitating. Cloning. And it might not necessarily be consciously, but you might actually deflect attention from yourself.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, I agree with you 100%. But I was just trying to, because for the younger people, it's almost like, okay, this looks like a sure path to follow, and if I follow it, I'm going to become the next classification or whatever, or that guru, even in the, but what I'm just saying is that learn from people, pick what you can from the paths and their journeys, which is why this spotlight is also good for the family. Learn from them. There are things you will do exactly what the person has done. People have taken on this Omniscope, and people will check it out. People can start using the tool and applying it. That's a learning from you. But are they going to become the classification guru with, with the limb
I don't
syncing
think so.
Exactly.
Excellent.
One last point, Tom. Thank you, Ngozi. Yes, I agree. Yes, exactly. You got my point in better way. Forgive me, I'm not always good on explaining. Okay, one last point. It's what is motivating? What is more motivating, in fact? Being successful or being in fail, not failure, in fail currently. I think the failure that we are facing, it's more motivating because we might be very proud of our success. So what's the next step? It will not be clear. But when we face kind of maybe not complete failure or any kind of failure, it's still pushing us. Now, this is kind of mentality, how maybe I think or how I found a lot of people thinking. But really, it's very important that now Tom can say that better than me. Be careful about your success because it might be the last one.
Yeah, you know, this is a great point, Guy. You remember the question I asked because I care about present Susan and future Susan. And I think Susan's emphasis needs to be far more emphasized. But if the things that we're about to have our discovery argument with Dennis about are true, I would want to see Susan add that to her skill set as soon as possible. We can talk
I
with her
would just
about
like
that.
to add that actually success is not the main driver for me, it's happiness. And that success doesn't necessarily equal happiness. But obviously to pay my bills, to run a team, I need to be successful.
Now, this is the best thing I hear today. For me, okay, this is my opinion. I will shut up. I will listen to you.
No, I agree with you, Susan. That's kind of where I was going to. But the point being is...
Can I have my own twist? Can I add my own twist to it?
Sure.
So I look at it as what do you define as success? So if your success means you're in a comfortable place where you can pay your bills, be happy, whatever it is that ticks all the right boxes for you, then that's success for me. And that can be a powerful driver because happiness is part of it. There's no success to me doesn't mean having money. That's not success to me. It means a lot more. Having money, enough to take care of my needs and help those that I can is only part of it. It doesn't define success solely for me. So yeah, that's the way I look at it. And whatever we define as success, then it really depends on what you put in that mix.
Yeah, this particular topic has so many aspects. We could go another 5 hours on this alone, but I think we let it rest for another day at this point. Susan, we've been excited about you coming on the show. I'm sure many of our family members.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
It's not really a show. I can't believe I called it that. It's our virtual family living room.
Family dinner.
Yeah, it's a family dinner. We're really laid back. We really want people to interact with each other. This started out, Maggie, excuse me, you're not Maggie, you're Susan. This started out when I just started getting too many one-on-one mentoring requests. I said, let's go to a call-in. I said, I'm going to offer an answer to help you with your question, but I want to hear from others too. A lot like what Harpreet does, but a little different. And even from the first question, I remember it's Navina. She's still part of our family, but she was so blessed to hear how much everybody wanted to help her. And Susan, we know you're a helper. And that's why we consider you part of our family. And
thank you.
Honored you came here today.
It's my honor.
All right, good. We will get you added to our Slackwork group so you can post your stuff and you'll see it. It's just everybody helping everyone be more together. So you'll fit right in. And are there any closing compliments or questions to Susan before